Hey guys, Suburban Home Nut here, and today we're going to make a classic Sunday dinner. Slow cooker, or some might say crock pot, pot roast with potatoes and carrots. This is delicious and really easy to do. On a scale of 1 to 10, I give it about a 3 or 4 on the technical ability scale. Very straightforward. And here's everything you'll need. We have beef broth. You can use stock as well. If you don't have that, chicken stock works perfectly. Oil, peeled and cut carrots, don't chop them up. We want to keep them whole. 3 or 4 stalks of celery, and that's just to flavor the gravy. Half an onion, small potatoes, some garlic, salt and pepper, and a good cast iron pan. We put the potatoes in the crock pot along with the celery, carrots. We always want to have some for leftovers. We crush up the garlic. Don't cut it or slice it. It's going to be in there for a really long time. That goes in the pot, and 1 to 1.5 cups of broth or stock. And last is the onions. We're going to turn that up on high just to give it a kickstart. Next is to turn the stove on medium. We want the pan nice and hot. Now, I didn't record this part, but we'll want to dry the roast off with some paper towels. A wet roast is going to spit when it hits the pan. And here comes the fun part. Generously salt and pepper the roast on all sides. The 3 best cuts of beef for roast that I found are chuck, brisket, and bottom round. Now this time around, I was a little more adventurous and used sirloin tip. Now I know this looks like a lot of salt and pepper, but some of it is going to come off in the pan. You can also flour the roast, but it's really not necessary, especially if you're going gluten-free. And we can't forget about the fat cap right here. Make sure that gets a little bit of love too. Flip it over and get the bottom as well. Now mop up all the salt and pepper. I didn't record that, so do as I say, not as I didn't record. The oils that I use are coconut or avocado oil. Olive oil is great for salad dressings and dipping. Once the pan is smoking a bit, gently place the roast in and just leave it. Let the pan sear it for you. Nothing to do right now. Check it, and it's almost there. Once you have the color you like, gently flip it over and sear the other side. That's finished, and now it's time to render the fat. We can turn the temperature down. There's a lot of heat in that pan. Flip the roast on the fat side and render that for just a little bit until you have the color you want. And check that out. That's a roast. Listen to that. Once you have color on the roast, place it in the crock pot, fat side up, and put the lid on and lock it in place. Turn the temperature down to low, and now we wait. It took about 5 hours for the internal temperature to get to about 170 degrees, so I just let it cook for about 1 more hour. The longer it cooks, the more tender it gets. Now it's time to make the gravy. These fat separators really come in handy. Simply pour in the pot roast juices, and the juices will settle to the bottom while the fat stays on top. I poured a small amount out so you can see it. On the right is the fat separator, and on the left is the measuring cup with the fat poured off. Pour the juices into a pan and bring to a boil. Now at this point, you can thicken it with a couple teaspoons of flour or use a little gravy mix to give it a darker color. Keep stirring until it thickens up just a little bit. Once it gets to the consistency you like, take it off the heat. Now comes the fun part, plating and eating. You can open up the potatoes a little bit and add some butter and salt. Give this recipe a try. I swear to you, it's super simple and a really classic Sunday dinner.